And we are live. Welcome back to Takes by Fans. We got a great show for you today. As always, we are live every single day at noon Eastern. If you want to watch live, head over to twitch.tv/takesbyfans. If you want to watch but not live, head over to our YouTube channel, Takes by Fans. We post all of our shows and clips of the show there on a daily basis. And if you just want to listen, we are on podcasting apps, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio. So however you want to watch or listen, we've got you covered multiple ways. Alrighty, today's a big old Wednesday, folks. Hard Knocks was on last night. We're going to be breaking that down today on the show. We'll see if we have time for an NFL team refresher, which we should be able to because we're a little freed up. No preseason games on today, but it does start tomorrow, and then we got Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, folks. Another huge NFL weekend of NFL preseason football, gauging what the teams are looking like, at the start of week one. What teams can we start buying into a little bit more? What rookies are starting to kind of take a little bit more of a form? What are just the overall team's identities truly starting to look like as we kind of head into the midway point of the preseason? There's only 3 this year, folks. So we get preseason game number 2, preseason game number 3, a week off, and then we're right into the thick of it at the regular season. So we'll do a NFL team refresher before the insanity of preseason football, where we have to start looking at tape and what players can play and all that. So that's what we've got today on the show. So let's just jump right into it, the stories of the day. And the first one up, let's talk about Hard Knocks, episode 2 last night. A solid episode. Was it great? No. Was it good? Yeah, solid. Was it as good as episode number 1? No. And there was a couple of things to take away. So let's just kind of read our notes and see what we saw yesterday. Like I said, obviously not as good as episode number 1 and not a lot of stuff to kind of go over, but there are still some nuggets that we can talk about. So let's talk about the first thing up here. Mike McCarthy's speeches, his kind of, locker room speeches, his classroom speeches, getting everybody hyped up, buying into the team, and, just kind of, making it known that, like, I'm the guy, I'm the head coach, like, I'm here to set the tone for the overall team. The message, this is what the message is I want to send out to y'all, to have y'all sinking your teeth big into this team, everybody buying in. So, if you go on Twitter and stuff, a lot of people don't like Mike McCarthy speeches, or like it's not getting excitement from all the players. Nobody's really buying into these speeches, and these speeches aren't great. I don't think these are wow. I mean, he's truly blowing me away, and this is what we're kind of saying of Mike McCarthy. He's just like an average coach. I don't see anything special about the man. I don't think he's a bad head coach. I don't think he's a great head coach. I think he's mediocre. I think there's nothing special about him. Like we say, he underwhelmed there in Green Bay in just the amount of championships when you have, Aaron Rodgers as your quarterback. So a little underperforming there, but I'm going to kind of, come to his defense a little bit. I mean, these are just classroom speeches, folks. This is not a movie. This is not movie. This is real life. I mean, have you ever been in a classroom, folks? I mean, you don't get everyone banging on the tables when the teacher or the coach is talking. You don't get everybody clapping, yeah, truly buying in. Everyone's just kind of laying back, sitting back in their seats. They're taking in the message because, it's somebody talking to you. It's somebody kind of, talking not down to you, but it's somebody talking at you. And it's not like, the movie Rudy or any of these other classic football movies where, everything's real intense and the coach is up there giving his speech and everyone's got their head down and they're kind of bobbing. And then you get the quarterback that starts like banging on the table like, yeah, coach is truly getting us fired up by his words here in this kind of classroom setting. And everyone starts banging on the tables because the quarterback is banging, and everyone rises to their feet and starts fist pumping and going, yeah, everyone buying. This is real life, folks. I mean, like I said, have you ever been in a classroom setting, folks? Nobody gets hyped. Nobody gets like, oh my God, truly engaged by a teacher or a coach, lecturing or trying to, do a speech or something like that. It's just everyone's kind of internalizing it. They're taking away the message. And this is why I have no problem Mike McCarthy's kind of speeches. I mean, what are y'all expecting to see? Are you expecting all the players to really just truly like engaging and like locking laser focus in the head coach's eyes? That's nothing. That never happens. I mean, you can go to the best coaches in the NFL, Bill Belichick, Sean Payton, these great coaches, and we can get a look inside their kind of classroom setting with their speeches, and it's the same kind of, the players all do the same thing. They sit there, they internalize it, they are listening, hopefully, but it's not like, what are you expecting? So I'm not knocking Mike McCarthy on his speeches. It's hard to get guys, kind of truly buying in, and I'm not gonna, pick apart all of his speeches. I don't think, like I said, I don't think they're great, but I don't think they're bad either. They're just kind of average coach speeches, stuff that you say that you kind of have to say to get everybody to buy into your football team. So, yeah, I've got no problem with these Mike McCarthy speeches. So just average-ish. He's average, folks, but I'm not going to knock him and be like, oh, he's a trash coach. And I mean, do you see the players? I mean, I'm not going to mention any names, but there are some, professional sports analysts that were kind of clowning Mike McCarthy for not having his players buying into his speech. What does that look like? What does the players buying into this man's speeches look like? It's not the movies, banging on the tables, everyone saying, hoorah, let's go get it done. That's the locker room speeches where everyone's kind of, putting their hands in, Cowboys on 3, 1, 2, 3, Cowboys. That's everyone, get that gets hyped. But in a classroom setting, this is not movies, folks. This is not the movies. This is real life. So, got no problem with Mike McCarthy speeches. They could definitely be better, but they also could be a little bit worse. So that's Mike McCarthy. Also, what I liked about Mike McCarthy is, so they showed Ben DiNucci throwing that interception in the preseason game. Number 1, they kind of went back to that. But Ben DiNucci throws an interception, and Mike McCarthy comes to him on the sideline and kind of coaches him up a little bit. Doesn't ignore him, doesn't do anything like that. And even though Ben DiNucci has 0% chance to be the starter here, Mike McCarthy is still kind of taking the time and being like, hey, let it loose, slow down the game, start slinging it around. You've got this, no worries, go get it next time. So that's what I liked about Mike McCarthy there. That he's truly, it's not okay. Well, it's Dak's the quarterback. I'm not even going to pay attention to these other guys. He's truly getting in there and trying to coach them up as best as he can. Hey, shake off that interception. No big deal. Slow down the game. You got this. Let's go. So for that, I did kind of like what I saw by Mike McCarthy right there. Now let's talk about Dak Prescott. Dak, still being a leader, folks. I mean, I'm loving what I'm seeing from Dak every single minute of Hard Knocks. I'm like, they're going to like CD Lamb and one of the defensive coaches about his accent and all that. I'm like, no, give me more Dak. I just want to focus Dak. I want the entire episode to be on Dak, his leadership, his mentality, all that, because it's truly infectious, folks. I mean, he's a great leader on the field, and when we're kind of just talking about overall leadership on this team, I'm putting Dak over Mike McCarthy, and one's the head coach and one's the quarterback. So, wild that we're doing that, but I'm loving the energy Dak brings to this team. Dak knows he's obviously the starter, but he doesn't let that affect him. He doesn't kind of, have a big ego or anything. He's training up the other quarterbacks as well. Ben DiNucci didn't have any swag. I mean, he's just out there in shorts and the shirt, classic attire. And, one of the quarterback coaches was like, Dak, you gotta get this man some swag. So Dak, talks to Ben DiNucci, and then Ben DiNucci ends up wearing a hoodie like Dak does in practice. But just taking that leadership role on, it's infectious. Even though he's still unable to throw, he's out there in practice still coaching up the guys, getting everybody hype when there's a great ball thrown, when there's a great ball caught. He's right there, the first guy to congratulate and pump those teammates up. That's what I'm loving from Dak, and truly that's why you have to pay the man. That's why I'm glad he got the contract that he did, because yes, you do need to kind of put out the stats and you have to still be good at throwing the football, but you also have to be a great leader, and it's infectious, and it's freaking shattering the screen, folks. It's coming so much through the camera and all this that it's just shattering everything. So I'm loving Dak, man. I mean, I liked Dak coming into Hard Knocks, but I mean, I'm buying in 100% into this man now. So Dak's leadership, I mean, geez Louise, folks, it's absolutely top notch, and for that we give him credit. Especially, he could just be, sitting back, not doing anything, not cheering any of the other quarterbacks on, because why would I? I'm the starter. Kind of in Brett Favre-esque type of mode. Why am I going to coach up these guys when they could potentially take my spot or something like that, like they're going to be my predecessor or my successor or something like that? No, Dak's up there. He wants the best thing for the team, and if the backups are playing good, that's going to make the starters play better. If the backups are playing good, that's going to make the backups play good, which makes the starters play even better. And if the starters play at their top, then that means Super Bowl aspirations, expectations, and potentially getting to the big game. So I can't say enough great things about Dak Prescott, folks. I mean, it's just fantastic. I'm absolutely loving it. And I can't wait till episode number 3, but you better, Hard Knocks, just edit it out so it's only Dak. I only want to see Dak in episode number 3. Yes, the stories of, who was the guy? Kamara, coming from, I forgot what country, I apologize. But coming over here and getting it done, and he was looking pretty good in that preseason game. You give him some credit, had a strip sack. Unfortunately, that was called back because of an offsides penalty by the offense, not by him. But he was looking real solid out there, and that's a good story, but it's like, okay, let me get back to Dak, please. Maybe I'll allow y'all one segment where you can talk about something else. I don't want to see the defensive coach with the accent everybody making fun of, and and the player from another country. You could choose one, but everything else should just be Dak out there on the screen. I got to see more. Dak was kind of throwing, so this was the episode where he was still, not throwing, but then he ended up getting cleared to throw for light practice, light throwing, because of the shoulder injury. So once again, this shoulder injury is truly bunk now. I mean, this is not something that we should keep bringing up. This is a narrative that truly should be... I'm going to give it the rest of this week, just because he is kind of light practice, light throwing currently. But really, I mean, at the end of this week, by the time episode 3 airs of Hard Knocks, we need to be completely over and done with that. This shoulder injury is a big narrative. We thought it was a big narrative when it first happened. Getting a second MRI, we were like, what's going on? But truly, this is nothing. Dak's looking fine. He's still throwing fine. He's looking good out there. This does not seem like it's going to hinder him in the regular season. So at the end of this week, we're done with the narrative that Dak's injured. He's fine. The ankle's 100% good. The shoulder should be 100% good by the end of this week. And we're looking on to, preseason game number 3, really, where Dak Prescott probably won't play anyway, even if he is 100% healthy. And we're on to week 1, full strength, full healthy Dak Prescott. So he was throwing well. Even the quarterback coach was like, God damn, he was on point here. Gosh damn, this man's actually like fantastic. Like, they know he is, but they're like, all right, the injury may be holding him a little bit back, maybe kind of a little bit of setback in throwing, but quarterback coach was like, sheesh, literally. So Dak Prescott's looking all good out there, and the coaches are loving what they're seeing from him, and the leadership from Dak. Jeez Louise, fantastic. Alrighty, what else do we see in this episode? We got CeeDee Lamb. I mean, man, oh man, this man's coming into his second season. We are big time on CeeDee Lamb. We are projecting that he will be the best wide receiver in the league by the time this season's over. Right now, that poll, the most recent poll of the coaches and the staff and the players, all had Devontae Adams kind of ranked number 1 wide receiver in the league right now. And we think CeeDee Lamb's going to get that crown because he's just absolutely looking magnificent in training camp. These plays, I mean, we see these plays here. This is why, why I have the backdrop here as we're talking about this. Just CeeDee Lamb highlights here. Looking absolutely spectacular. And the best thing about CeeDee Lamb, he says, hey, I'm still not satisfied. I'm still hungry for more, even though that he's balling out here in training camp. And we know it's training camp, and training camp and game scenarios are different. I get it. But CeeDee Lamb was fantastic last season. He's probably having, do I dare say, the best camp of a wide receiver? Who else is having as good of a camp at the wide receiver position than CeeDee Lamb? I can't name one at the top of my head. I think we've talked about more about CeeDee Lamb than any other player, let alone wide receiver, this entire offseason, because it's highlight after highlight after highlight, getting that great separation. And the best thing about it is he's going to be kind of the number 2 wide receiver because they still have Amari Cooper. Maybe CeeDee Lamb becomes the number 1 wide receiver, but still you're going to have 2 great options out there. So CeeDee Lamb trying to, should be able to get a lot of one-on-one opportunities throughout the entire season. And once again, he is shining bright here on one-on-one situations, going up and getting the ball fearless. One-handed catches in the corner of the end zone. Bingo, bango, the man will go up and catch anything. And once again, his personality is fantastic. I'm loving his kind of overall mentality of the game, being like, yeah, I'm playing real good, but I'm still hungry and I still want to go out and do more, and I can't wait to get out there week 1 for the official game and still get it done. So CeeDee Lamb's looking great. His personality is shining bright through the camera as well. He had a little bit of a short segment here, and I can't see why you can't love this man, why you shouldn't be rooting for this man. He's looking fantastic, and he's just a great personality as well. So everything is coming together here for CeeDee Lamb, and we said it, I don't know when we said it, 2 weeks ago on the show, that CeeDee Lamb will become the number 1 wide receiver in the league, and that's kind of saying a lot because we highly regard Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill, in our opinion, is the best wide receiver in the league, but we can't not buy into this man. We can. So we're looking at CeeDee Lamb, folks, this season, and we'll see if he becomes that number 1 wide receiver like we think he does. All right, and then the last thing to talk about, we kind of hinted at this when we watched the preseason game against the Cardinals, breaking that down a couple of days ago on the show. But Micah Parsons, man, oh man, that man is always around the ball, always trying to get back into the game. We saw that in Hard Knocks episode number 1. Dan Quinn calls down and was like, hey, man, you did fantastic. Unfortunately, you only played like a series or 2. Your day's done. And Micah Parsons was like, nah, I want to get back in there and trying and pushing and try and get back on the field. Unsuccessful. And we kind of saw the same thing episode 2. Didn't play, played decently. He played great, but just kind of didn't play that many, series. And once again, he was like, man, y'all told me, and we couldn't get the full thing, so I'm assuming he was like, y'all told me if I was playing good, I could stay out there. We didn't see how that kind of conversation finished. He ended up going back out there in the next series, but he's always wanting to be out there, and hey, he's a first-round pick, I believe first-round pick in this year's draft, looking absolutely fantastic, and once again, he forced a fumble this preseason. So he recovered a fumble preseason game number 1 for the Cowboys, and he was kind of a part of forcing a fumble in the preseason game number 2. So this man is just a natural ball hawk. Obviously, you have to be in the right position at the right time, but he makes the most out of those opportunities. You don't get that many opportunities to make a big play, and if you're in the right position for the stars aligned, the play call, whatever it was, your defensive play call matched up with what the offense was running perfectly, and you're right there to make the play on the ball, he is going to make a play on the ball. So Micah Parsons is going to be a problem here for NFL offenses, and Micah Parsons is truly going to be the main leader defensively for this Cowboys team? Is he already the best Cowboys defender that they have, even though he is a rookie? So Micah Parsons is looking like a problem out here. Once again, always around the ball, a true ball hawk, and he's forcing those turnovers. I mean, that's the biggest key on defense, forcing a turnover, quick switches of the possessions from offense to defense to offense for Dak, the fantastic thrower and leader that he is, to hit CeeDee Lamb on kind of on the first offensive play after that, interception or fumble recovery, whatever it is, the turnover. So, I mean, we're looking at cashing in 7 points. We're looking to cash in those big strikes after Micah Parsons forces those turnovers. So, defense translates to offense, and we could be seeing that a lot this season if Micah Parsons continues to get better every single day, every single week, every single game. And this Cowboys defense, we don't think it's going to be great, But if Micah Parsons has anything to say about it, this is going to be the best defense in the NFL. So, man, oh man, Micah Parsons looking absolutely fantastic, and I can't wait to see what he does in preseason game number 3. I mean, what's next for this man? 2 fumbles, an interception, a big old quarterback sack. I mean, geez, look out for that big play highlight because he's made one in every single game, and he's only playing like 4 series max, folks. It's not like, it's taking him to like the last play of the 4th quarter for him to finally get the big play. No, folks, it's all coming in like the 1st quarter. So just Micah Parsons, folks, he is going to be a big old problem this season, and I cannot wait to watch this man. So those were the big takeaways from episode number 2. Hoping episode number 3 is a little bit better than episode number 2. This is still great. I'm not knocking, Hard Knocks, and I'm not saying this is a bad show. I'm just saying compared to episode number 1, it was a little lackluster, but we're still getting great insight. And that's what's so great about Hard Knocks. It's not just all about, the main guys, Dak and CeeDee Lamb and Zeke. They have a lot of time on the show, granted, because, they're the superstars of the team, but they're still going to, the rookie Micah Parsons. They're still going to that Kamara man and, following his family and all that. So it is still good entertainment, and it is still a great insight of truly what it takes to make an NFL team and to be just in an NFL team in general, not being the main man, being one of the lower people on the team fighting for a chance to make that final 53-man roster. So I still like the show, folks. I'm not knocking the show. It's just Dak, man. I got to see more. I got to see Hard Knocks like 2.0, where there's 2 episodes every week. One's the main show, and then the other one's just an hour of Dak. I got to see an hour of Dak every day, folks. So HBO, get on that. Hard Knocks, get on that. We got HBO Max. You can put whatever content. We're not restricted by time slots and all that. Just throw it up there right now. Who cares? And a 1 hour unedited video clip of all Dak Prescott. Give me all the Dak Prescott film. I'll pay for it. Let me know where to send my check to, where to send my money to. I will buy all of the unseen Dak Prescott footage that Hard Knocks has acquired over the last couple of weeks. So I'll be in touch, HBO. I will be in touch. So that was HBO Hard Knocks from last night. Great episode. Go out and watch it. Always great to see behind the scenes of football, because we sink months in years. I mean, we spent the entire year talking about football, folks. I mean, there was not a day on the show that we did not talk about NFL football and getting the behind the scenes look and truly what goes on and what makes teams and players and coaches and all that. It's great, folks. So shout out to Hard Knocks. Obviously great, like usual. All right, let's get into some stories here. First one up, ooh, we get to hear from the man. We get to hear from the man after our big party yesterday, our big celebration that Tebow is finally out of the league and hopefully done forever. But you never know with this man. He always pops up at the weirdest times. So give it another 9 years, and I'm sure he'll be back somewhere. Oh, I can kick this time. You don't have to, be young to kick. I can kick. Oh, okay, Tim. He's got 9 years to work on it. So, Tim, start working on your kicking career. But here we go. We get to hear from Jaguars head coach Urban Meyer on cutting Tim Tebow. What is he saying about it? Was it an easy decision? Obviously not. This is Urban Meyer. This is Tim Tebow. It's nepotism, folks. It is football nepotism. This is what it is. We all know Urban Meyer basically said, hey, coaches, is he looking good? Kind of, with a little bit of a gun to their head. Hey, was he looking good training today in front of y'all? Yes, he was, right? He was looking good. Okay, well, the coaches told me he was looking good, so I guess, I'm going to trust my coaches here, even though there was a little incentive to say, hey, he was looking good. But we digress. So let's see what Urban Meyer was saying here about Timothy Tebow and having to cut him. Oof, cutting a family member. Oof. Basically a family member. They won a national championship in college. I mean, you're forever engulfed into a brotherhood, cemented into a brotherhood when you do that. So let's see what Urban Meyer is saying on this tough decision to cut Tebow. Here we go. The Tim Tebow experiment in Jacksonville is over. Thank goodness, folks. I slept so well last night. I slept so well last night knowing that we don't have to worry about Tim Tebow ever again. Jeez, thank goodness. The Jaguars cut Tebow on Tuesday morning. The team announced the quarterback turned tight end thanked the organization for the opportunity to try and reignite his NFL career. We're not going to read it again, folks. I can't read that again. It's just so, Like, of course it's going to sound good. It's Tebow, folks. It's Tebow. He's never, he's always well-spoken. He's always, humble as heck. So, of course it's going to sound great. Of course it is. It's boilerplate nonsense. I don't care. Does he truly mean this? I don't know what Tebow's like in his personal time. I don't know the man behind the act. I mean, we all put on a personality for the world, and maybe our inner thoughts and just kind of inner personality don't line up to that. We know that by Tom Brady. Folks, we will always go back to this quote. I'm finally glad that somebody's honestly said this, so we can, hey, this is the fact. We're not just, we're not just saying nonsense out here. It is fact. We knew it was fact, but now we have verifiable proof from the greatest of all time. I'm going to call him that. I got no problem doing that. Oh geez, could you imagine if I called that man the greatest of all time? I would have to cancel the show if those words ever came out of my mouth. But Tom Brady, the greatest quarterback of all time, the greatest NFL player of all time. Do I dare say that? We can hold off on that for now. But, Tom Brady says 95% of what I say is not what I'm thinking. So, I don't know if Tim Tebow's truly thinking this. Like, hey, why would you even, bring me here if y'all were going to cut me the first opportunity? Ruining my image, my legacy, my reputation, So, I'm not going to read what Tim Tebow says. We did that yesterday, and it was a little sickening. It was a little too sickening, but we digress. All right, here we go. After 5 years in baseball, 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 do y'all see what we are getting here? After 5 years of baseball, Tebow attempted to return to the NFL, this time as a tight end after playing his football career as a quarterback back in 2010. That one sentence alone should literally... It sums up everything perfectly why this was a clown circus to begin with, and I'm over it. I'm over it. The former first-round pick by Denver spent 2 years with the Broncos, 1 year with the Jets, and an offseason stint with the Patriots in 2013, where he had a chance to become a tight end, so please spare me, folks. Jeez, he had his chance, he declined it, and decided to go play baseball. Over it. Urban Meyer decided to give his former college quarterback a shot to make the Jaguars roster as a tight end. The position change for the 34-year-old proved to be too much to overcome, obviously. Quote here by Urban Meyer. Here we go. It's tough. We knew that it was an uphill battle for Tim. Players loved him? Really? Did they? Okay. If y'all say that, y'all were around those players. Okay, I wasn't. I'll take your word for it. I'm not buying it, though. Players loved him. Locker room loved him. Did they? But it was the right thing. So, yes, it was the right thing. You got to get him out. He floundered big time. You had a moment. You didn't seize it. It's unfortunate. Not everybody seizes their moment, and you get cut. And that's exactly what Tebow did. He did not seize his moment. You got one shot. This was like his fifth shot, and this was his first shot of his fifth shot, and he went and floundered. So he had to be cut. But I'm not buying that players loved him. I don't know anybody that's looking. I think everybody was kind of looking at each other like, we don't like this guy, but Urban Meyer does, and Urban Meyer's the coach, and I still want to be here, and I want to be the starter. So yeah, we love Tebow, Urban. Yeah, this was a great choice. Yeah, and then Urban Meyer turns around, and they're like, this guy's awful. Why the heck is this man in the locker room? This man should not be here. That's how I think it goes. All right, we get any other quotes? That was the only quote by Urban Meyer. That's all we get? Oh, must have cut Urban Meyer deep. He can't really talk. He can't really talk about it too much. It upsets him. So that's what we get by Urban Meyer. I'm not going to read all this other paragraphs about Tim Tebow. I don't feel bad for the man. I do not feel sorry for the man. Why would I? He's fine. He's well off, I'm sure. I'm sure he's got another gig lined up after this. So, don't worry about, please, folks, don't worry about Tim Tebow. Tim Tebow's got God on his side. He doesn't need anybody worrying about him. He's fine himself, folks. This like big old sympathy for Tim Tebow and the big rooting for Tim. I don't get it. Can somebody explain it to me? I don't like mediocre levels of competition, and that's what Tim Tebow is. Below mediocre. I'm being mediocre. I'm saying mediocre to be polite and give him a little respect, even though I can truly ugh. But once again, I disrespect you respectfully. I mean, we're talking about the highest level of competition. That's why we got no sympathy for people, folks. I mean, we are at the highest level. If you want to go and play in the XFL, the CFL, whatever, that's fine. That's fine. You do that. Go and do those 2 other leagues. There's other options out here. But we're talking about the pinnacle of football, the highest level. And this is what we do on the show. I'm not going to celebrate lackluster, mediocre play because there's other players, oh my God, looking fantastic. And we love the ultimate level of competition. And having Tim Tebow on your team does not translate to the ultimate level of competition. That's what I'm about here. The highest level. This is competition, baby. Can we stop bringing everything down to the most borderline basic things? I mean, this should be a high standard that is hard to impossible to master, hard to even be good at. We should be celebrating the highest levels of competition, not bringing in Tim Tebow and making this a fairy tale Cinderella story. This is not this. This is football. This is a grown person sport. I won't even kind of genderize it. If females want to get in here and you can prove that you can be at the highest level, I'm all for it. Get in there. But this is the highest level of competition that there is, and we're watering it down, folks. I'm not about it. I don't want to see this watered down, and it's already getting a little watered down to begin with. I need to see the best of the best at every single position, consistently going at it week after week after week after week after week after week for 17 times, week, playoff game, and then we're at the Super Bowl, baby, and that's where it all comes to a head. The best versus the best at the highest stage. And really, do we say any sport? Maybe not the World Cup, because that's, we're talking country. So maybe not as big as the World Cup, but I mean, probably the second biggest sporting event that there is. Can't even count the Olympics. We don't even know how to watch the Olympics, folks. I mean, it's over in different countries, and the time zone's different, and nobody advertises, and it's getting put on Peacock and not, national television. So it's like, okay, what are we doing here? But we're talking about one of the top 2 biggest sports in the world, folks. That's what we love about the game. The competitive nature. CeeDee Lamb looking fantastic, year 2. Dak Prescott, the leadership. I'm just talking about them because we just talked about them. They're fresh in our minds. Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady, obviously Aaron Rodgers. We get everybody, folks. But Tim Tebow's not that. So I'm glad he's gone. I've got no problem saying that. I mean, people did not agree with our celebration yesterday. I don't care, folks. I mean, I truly don't. This is what the show is. We celebrate the highest levels of competition here. We want to see the best of the best go at it, and Tim Tebow is far from that. At quarterback, at tight end, at competitive edge, competitive spirit, whatever y'all chalk that up to, it's just not there. It's not up to snuff, and we saw that in preseason game number 1. So, short little quote here by Urban Meyer, once again, trying to distance himself, not being like, oh my God, Tim Tebow's such a great guy, such a great man, a believer in God, he's faithful to his religion, he's an overall great player, a great person, a great personality, a great mindset. No. We got like two sentences out of the man. So once again, even Urban Meyer trying to distance himself from this Tebow thing that didn't really pan out too well, and this was kind of his second big decision. Obviously, bringing in Trevor Lawrence in the draft, that's his big first kind of own decision, and then this Tebow one is a little bit of a strikeout. So hopefully we don't hear from him. I don't want to hear from Tim Tebow ever again. I'm done. I'm over it. He's done. Hopefully, but you never know. It's the NFL's golden child for some reason. We never get it, but whatever. All right, let's keep moving on here. Yesterday, Seattle Seahawks safety Jamal Adams got the big deal, and this was kind of, we haven't really been tracking this on the show too much. It was a lot of oh, he's gonna get the deal, oh, he's not gonna get the deal, he's gonna play under the franchise tag, they're not gonna sign him this season, they're not gonna have any talk. So it was a lot of just every day something new that it was just a little tiresome to really kind of keep up with. But they end up signing him, folks. Jamal Adams has reached an agreement on a 4-year $70 million contract extension with the Seattle Seahawks that includes includes a $38 million guaranteed. Oof, love. I mean, when I see those big guaranteed numbers, I mean, folks, that is instantly waking up and money in your bank account. I mean, folks, it's fantastic. Instantly waking up with $38 million in your bank account. I don't know how I go to work after that. I don't know how I go to practice after that. It's like, yeah, I think I'm going to hit the snooze. I'm going to call it. I'll see you tomorrow. But today, geez, I got money dreams going on. So, highest paid safety now in the league. And is that right? I mean, he's good. Don't get me wrong. I don't know. I think I put Tyron Matthew slightly above Jamal Adams. Jamal Adams is a great kind of, he's one of these roaming safeties, so he's not going to have the big interception numbers. He's not going to have the big pass defense numbers. He's blitzing all over the place. He will be lined up anywhere and at any time out there on the field, and that's what we love, these roaming safeties, the Jamal Adams, the Tyron Matthews, the Minkah Fitzpatricks, that really just do everything so well and, just make it a menace for the opposing team's offense, because you really have to account for wherever these guys are lined up on any single play. So Jamal Adams, now the highest paid safety. So let's see what he has to say about it now that, he bet on himself. It paid off. He never really officially held out here for Seattle. But, once again, he was like, hey, I want the money. I want the money. I'm not going to sign a team-friendly deal. I want it all. I want to be the highest paid safety because that's what I think I'm earned. So once again, I've got no problems with players betting on themselves, trying to get all the money. I'm all about it, and that's exactly what Jamal Adams did, and it pays off. So let's see what he has to say about this. Let's get a little kind of update on the entire Jamal Adams situation as well. So let's kind of decently go into this article. It's not too long, and we'll try to go as quickly and skip what we need to skip. But here we go. The standoff between Jamal Adams and the Seattle Seahawks is over. Adams is now the highest paid safety in the NFL. NFL Network insider Ian Rappaport reported Tuesday that Adams agreed to a 4-year, $70 million contract with $38 million guaranteed. The $17.5 million per year average in new money blasts past the Broncos' Justin Simmons at $15.25 million as the highest among all safeties. Justin Simmons was the highest until yesterday. Landon Collins is the only safety to have received more guaranteed money, $44.5 million, but that came on a 6-year deal. Adams' deal has a maximum value of $72 million. NFL Network's Mike Garofalo reported, meaning the safety could end up making $18 million per year. Jeez, sheesh, pay me $18 million a year. Gosh dang. The same as currently top-paid Seahawks teammate Bobby Wagner earns if he hits team and individual performances incentives. Adams was entering the final year of his rookie contract, slated to earn $9.86 million. Now he's under contract through 2025. While much consternation characterized contract talks or reported lack thereof between Adams reps and Seahawks of late, all the worrying and pontificating goes up in smoke. The deal is done, and Adams followed with his return to practice on Tuesday afternoon. So once again, I mean, they just put it out there right here. I mean, folks, it was literally like, so this deal happened yesterday or today? This deal happened, when did this happen? Yesterday. So 2 days ago, it was literally like, there was reports coming out that they're done with talks and they're not going to talk about it for the rest of the season. So, and then the very next day, he gets the deal done. So that's why we didn't really kind of talk about the story too much on the show. All right, let's see what Jamal Adams says here. Quote by him. Quote, I believe in myself and I believe in what I can do on the football field. All I needed was somebody to believe in me, and those guys upstairs, they believed in me. And they took a chance, and all I can do is just continue to produce and continue to work my tail off and win ball games, man. And that's why players want to get paid, because it is a sign of respect and a sign of good faith. Hey, if y'all aren't paying me, the league high, y'all see all the other numbers of the safeties. If you're not paying me what they're getting, you don't believe that I can perform at the high level, and y'all don't really kind of respect me in that kind of regard, in that sense, and y'all don't really think I can play as well as them. So I'm taking that as a sign of disrespect. And, that classic Michael Jordan quote from the Last Dance documentary, and I took that personally. Oh, you're not going to make me the highest paid safety, or even the second highest paid or third highest paid? You want to make me the fifth highest paid safety? Oh, I took that personally. Okay, Okay, you just woke up the beast, and, you're going to see yourself in some hell in some negotiation rooms because I'm worth it. I've proven I'm worth it, and I'm going to get the money. It's going to be here, or somebody else is going to get the money, or somebody else is going to give me the money, and I'm going to, ball out for them. Do you want to kind of, face me week 16, 2 years from now, and, both of our playoffs lives are on the line. Only one of our teams can get in there, and I'm beating your ass when you had a chance to sign me and lock me up for 5 years? You don't want that, do you? Make me the highest paid safety. Jamal Adams gets it done. So that's the only quote there by Jamal Adams. Betting on himself, you got to believe in it. All right, let's see if there's anything else we have to kind of talk about here. So let's see what we get in this article. We'll keep going until it's trashed. Here we go. There was never any question the Seahawks were prepared to make Adams the highest paid safety in the league. There was never any question, really? Because, we were going, weeks and weeks back and forth about, them not signing him and them not getting the long-term deal done and stopping negotiations. Okay. Rappaport and Garofalo continuously reported that would ultimately be the case. The bigger question was the guarantees in the pay structure. The Seahawks inherited all the risk when trading 2 first-round picks to the New York Jets for the former number 6 overall selection. Doing so gave Adams insane leverage. Truly that. Hey, you wasted 2 first-round picks on me. Now you're not going to pay me? I'll walk. I got no problem with that. My contract's up. I'm not under contract no more. I'm gone. The Seahawks were never going to let the star safety walk after paying such a high price to acquire him. So that's basically where we are at with Jamal Adams, now the highest paid safety in the league. And quickly, let's just see how, his stats stack up against other kind of safeties here. We have the top 9 highest paid safeties. We'll probably only kind of focus on like the top 5 here. But going into this deal, so this doesn't reflect the deal. Now, Jamal Adams is the number 1 safety, but we got Broncos safety Justin Simmons, now number 2 at $15.25 million. We got Cardinal safeties Budda Baker, which I did not know he was his third highest paid safety in the league at $14.75 million. Bears safety Eddie Jackson, now number 4 at 14.6, and Titans safety Kevin Byard at 14.1 million, number 5, and Chiefs safety Tyron Matthew at 14 million, now number 6 overall. But I'm loving what Tyron Matthew brings to the table. Like I said, I kind of classify him as the number 1 safety in football. When we look at what Jamal Adams does so well, obviously the sacks, doesn't really have that many interceptions, doesn't really have that many pass defenses. He's just all over the field. We see last season he had 9.5 sacks. That's absolutely tremendous for the safety position. And when we kind of compare it to what he did with the Jets, once again, fit is everything, scheme is everything, finding the right team is everything. And he was solid with the Jets, obviously. But the sack numbers for the Jets, he had 2 his first year. He played all 16 games. He had 3.5 his second year. He played all 16 games. He had 6.5 in 2019 with the Jets and only 14 games. But then he only played 12 games because of a little bit of a nagging injury in the beginning of the season. He had 9.5 sacks in 12 games. That's absolutely fantastic. So hopefully the sky is the limit for this man and he goes out and balls out. Like we said, doesn't really have that many interceptions and pass defenses. When we compare him, let's compare him to Tyron Matthew, and then we'll compare him to Justin Simmons as well, seeing what the other safeties are doing in comparison to Jamal Adams. Jamal Adams is not the prototypical regular safety. Like we said, these safeties are not getting 9.5 sacks a game or a season, folks. I think he led all safeties by a mile in that regard, and he was out, even beating out some defensive linemen, defensive edge rushers, linebackers, all of that. This is what this man truly brings to the table. So let's see what Tyron Matthew's stats are looking like in comparison to Jamal Adams. We're going to talk about Tyron Matthew in a second. This is kind of why we bring him up. And like we said, we do believe that Tyron Matthew is the best safety in the league. So here we go. Tyron Matthew, obviously a couple of more seasons played. He got in the league in 2013, 4 more seasons than Jamal Adams has. 3, 4, however you want to count it. So Tyron Matthew has 23 interceptions, while Jamal Adams only has 2 interceptions. That's really not Jamal Adams' game. Tyron Matthew has 23. But sacks, Jamal Adams has 21.5, and Tyron Matthew has 9. So even though these are both kind of roaming safeties and can be over anywhere on the field at any given moment, they, have different aspects to their game. So what do you kind of praise as better play for your team and your fit in your scheme overall? Do you want high interception numbers, or do you want kind of another big force that can rush the passer and bring that passer down in sacks? So once again, just two totally different kind of game styles, and we see that truly highlighted by these stats right here. Jamal Adams, 7 forced fumbles. Tyron Matthew, 4 forced fumbles. Jamal Adams, 4 fumble recoveries. And Tyron Matthew, 3. And we're talking about their entire career, folks. Tyron Matthew has 2 touchdowns, and Jamal Adams has 1. So comparison, just the big thing that stands out between these two is Tyron Matthew is a little bit more of a ball hawk than Jamal Adams. Now let's go to Justin Simmons, because Justin Simmons was the highest paid safety going into 2 days ago. So let's see how Jamal Adams stacks up to Justin Simmons here. Now, Justin Simmons and Jamal Adams pretty much came in the league at the same time. Jamal Adams in 2017, Justin Simmons in 2016. So these numbers really are all on kind of the same number of game basis, where Tyron Matthew a couple more games overall. So here we go. Jamal Adams, like we said, he's got 21.5 sacks, and Justin Simmons only has 2. But Justin Simmons has 16 interceptions. Jamal Adams has 2. So once again, different play styles, still same position overall. Justin Simmons has no forced fumbles, 1 fumble recovery, and like we said, Jamal Adams has 7 forced fumbles and 4 fumble recoveries. Both only have 1 touchdown. So once again, just a different play style, and that's what the Seahawks are kind of going after. That's what they thought is best for their overall defense. They've got lockdown kind of pass defenders in the secondary. They just kind of want Jamal Adams to kind of do both. He's still able to kind of, have some solid pass defenses. Let's go to that quickly. Do they break down overall pass defenses? That is something I wanted to take a look at when we're comparing these two. We'll have to do it the old-fashioned way. Pass defenses. So Justin Simmons has 37 pass defenses in his career. Let's get Jamal Adams' number up here. Jamal Adams has 28 pass defenses, so he's still getting it done. He's still, being a great safety when it's coming over the top and, the deep ball, a 50-yard bomb, still playing that kind of classic safety position. He's still able to kind of, break it up. That's great. I mean, a little less, like, what was it, 11 less than Justin Simmons pass defenses-wise, but it's still a nice number up there. He's just not kind of that ball hawk that is intercepting the ball. And, if you're getting sacks and, forcing kind of, them to punt because it's 3rd and 8, you send Jamal Adams, he gets a sack. Now it's, 4th and 20, 12-yard sack. Congratulations, Jamal Adams, on that. But you're still forcing a turnover regardless. So, and he can still lock up some good wide receivers back there. So fantastic. Let's quickly take a look at Budda Baker quickly, and then we'll end this segment and move on. But let's just see what Budda Baker, since he is the 3rd highest paid safety now, let's see how Jamal Adams stacks up against Budda Baker. And when did Budda Baker get in this league, folks? And why is this paid? Wow, 2017, just like Jamal Adams. Wow. Okay. I thought it was like 2018 and he got that big deal already. I was like, okay. So Budda Baker got paid off of his rookie deal. Congratulations. And Jamal Adams wants that same respect. And once again, the Seahawks organization did that. Congratulations. So here we go. Budda Baker, what do we got for him? He's only got 5.5 sacks for his entire career. He's got 5 forced fumbles. Jamal Adams has 7. Budda Baker has 4 fumble recoveries. Jamal Adams has 4 as well. And the interceptions, they both only have 2. So once again, Jamal Adams' just numbers overall are great compared to all these others while getting these sacks. Not the big interception numbers, but he's translating those interception numbers and just kind of substituting those for great sack numbers while also getting the great big pass defenses as well. Let's see what Budda Baker's pass defenses numbers are, and they're only at 20, and he was the 2nd highest paid safety in the league, folks. How crazy. So Jamal Adams truly deserves, in my opinion, to be highest paid. Do we say highest paid? I don't know if highest paid. I think truly Tyron Matthew should be the highest paid, but That's just how I see it. But yeah, second highest paid. I've got no problems with him being the highest paid safety in the league. But congratulations on Jamal Adams with the money. Hopefully he can keep up this level of play. Like we said, it's hard to maintain for more than like a 4-year stretch. We really kind of see that as really the maximum of just overall kind of A1 tier 1 talent in this league. It's hard to maintain great success for more than really a kind of a 4-year stretch. Now, you can take like a 4-year stretch doing fantastic, and if you have great longevity in this league, playing like 8, 10, 12 seasons, great. That's great in the league. You can come back and do like another great 4-year stint. We've seen kind of, Big Ben do that. Tom Brady's been great for every single year, which he is the outlier. He is the exception to the rule. But we'll see if Jamal Adams, does he kind of take, we're going into season 5 with Jamal Adams now? Yeah, season 5. So we had that first kind of 4-year great stretch. Maybe if you want to count only 3 disregarding his rookie year, that's fine. But we're still kind of getting into that back end of that 4-year stretch. Does he take a couple of seasons and kind of has to readjust his game and then comes back, 1 season or 2 seasons later trying to recreate another 4-year stretch? We've seen it happen. But that 4-year stretch, that's kind of the number that we've been seeing here a lot when we're breaking down the numbers and the stats of everything. So we'll see if Jamal Adams truly lives up to all this money and continues to get better and continues to be a dominant force for this Seahawks team. And one last thing I want to point out quickly, because the Seahawks did get into the postseason last season, and they ended up getting bounced. Was this the wild card game, or was this the second round of the playoffs? I believe this was wild card. Yeah, wildcard game. So, wildcard game, Seahawks, Rams, excuse me. Jamal Adams plays 100% of the snaps out there, and he had 3 pass defenses the entire regular season, and then he had 3 pass defenses in the playoff game. So, once again, he's still getting it done as a safety. Had no sacks this game, unfortunately, but still being that kind of prototypical safety when you need him to do, with 3 pass defenses in the playoff game. So, not bad there either. So, he's still able to live up to that. So, Jamal Adams, congratulations on the money, and we can't wait to see you work this season. All right, let's talk about another safety, Tyron Matthew, because we get this now. Chiefs general manager Brett Veach on Tyron Matthew saying, quote, "We're certainly going to work our tail off to keep him here." And he is a huge piece. He is probably the main leader, the main big defensive piece of this Chiefs team overall. And, Tyron Matthew, you've got a lot of money to spend on this team, folks. Patrick Mahomes ate up a lot of it on that 10-year, $500 million deal. You're really going to want to keep Travis Kelce, and he wants to get paid. Tight end university was a sign of, hey, respect us a little bit more, pay us the tight end position a little bit more out here because we deserve it. So now you're going to have to get Travis Kelce some money. You got to keep Tyreek Hill. You're saving a little money with the running back at Clyde Edwards-Helaire because he's on a rookie deal so far going into his second year. So there's not really a lot of money to be had because you got to pay these other great players as well. And now we're looking at Tyron Matthew, I believe, going into a contract year. We'll get all the details here in this article. But yeah, you really got to keep this man on your team. He's a huge, just great leader overall, and you know how we love to praise the leaders here. If you're great and a leader, that's fantastic. So let's see what they're saying here about Tyron Matthew. Let's see if we get anything on Tyron Matthew in this article, if he's willing to kind of not be the highest paid, because when we look at these numbers already, he's the 6th highest paid. Is he going to take that as a sign of disrespect, or is he going to kind of buy into the team mentality? I've got no problem, whatever you do. If you decide, hey, I'm going to kind of be the good sport here and take a team-friendly deal, or if you kind of want to be, hey, I want all the money. I've got no problem with either, and I can see both sides. I'm not going to knock either side. I've got no problem, whether you're, looking for championships alone, or whether you're looking for the money and you want to kind of be the main focus of why you win the championship because you can't really pay anybody else. I've got no problem with either side, folks. So let's see what we get in this article right here, and truly how much they really want to keep Tyron Matthew, because if Tyron Matthew is not a Kansas City Chief, he is going to get picked up instantly, folks. Truly instantly. The man's that great. So here we go. Jamal Adams got his payday, resetting the safety market by $2 million per year on his 4-year, $70 million contract extension. Heading into next year, there will be a bevy of safeties waiting in line to get paid. Bevy of safeties? What does this word mean? Bevy. I'm assuming, obviously, large, but bevy definition. Let's get that. I don't even know if that's a word. I just looked it up on Google, and they're bringing me to a website. Bevy. A large group of people or things of a particular... Oh, that's exact... Man, oh, man. Who wrote this? Kevin Patra. Man, oh, man. What a word. What a word. That's exactly what that is. Truly a bevy of safeties. Exactly. All right. The Chiefs, among those back-end playmakers, resides in Kansas City. Tyron Matthew, the 29-year-old back-to-back all-pro safety, enters his third and final season with the Chiefs, slated to make a base salary of $14.5 million. So going into his last year, contract year, got to step it up. Let's see what here we go. Continue with the article. Chiefs general manager Brett Veach told SiriusXM NFL Radio on Tuesday that the team will do its darndest. You better do more than your darndest out there. I need to see damnedest. I want to see damnedest out there to keep the defensive leader in Kansas City for years to come. The issue is the financial hurdles it will take to get the deal done. Like we just freaking said, folks, you've got a lot of talent on this team, and there's not just one thing that makes this Kansas City Chiefs team tick and work. It's really all of them. So we'll see if everyone's taking a team-friendly deal. So let's see what the general manager says right here. Quote, "We've had a chance to talk to Tyron in his representation, and I think it's a little bit difficult with the landscape right now of having two cap-shortened off-seasons and where we are in regards to our off-season projections." And just a quick little side note, the cap does increase next season, so there is a little bit more flexibility in overall spending. Quote, back to the quote, "But as we've discussed with Tyron and his crew, it's one of those situations that where we are now will certainly not be where we are once the season ends, and once we correct some of the things when you have extensions, conversations, trades, players move on, every team is certainly in a different position with what their books say than what they will be in the offseason. And we like to think that we're going to find a way to get this done, and he knows we love him, and we know he wants to be here. And right now for him and for us, I think it's just a timing thing. But there's not a guy in this league I respect as much as him for the way he goes about his business. And, listen, a lot of these guys and a lot of these teams, I think we saw the franchise tag period come and go, and no one got done. And there have been a couple of deals, but a lot of these bigger deals haven't been done for the same reason. Different players handle it in a different way, and just like you'd expect from Tyron, just complete class. I mean, the guy is special. We love him, and we're certainly going to work our tail off to keep him here. And that's what I love to hear, folks, and that's why I love Tyron Matthew, folks. He goes out and gets it done. He's all class, and I've got no problem. Like I said, I've got no problem with how you handle your business. You will do what's best in what is right for you, whether it's getting all the money, whether it's going out on social media and airing the grievances, whether it's holding out, or whether it's just kind of buying in and kind of zipping your lip a little bit. And I don't mean that disrespectfully, folks, don't take that the wrong way, but like Tyron Matthew, we haven't heard a peep out of Tyron Matthew. We've heard a little bit of a peep out of Jamal Adams. I've got no problem with either way. Go and get your bread, man. Go get your money. Folks, money. How many times do I have to say it? Money, cash rules everything around me. Cream, dollar bill, y'all, come on. Money is everything, folks, and you will not convince me otherwise. And if you convince yourself otherwise, I think you're a little bit lying to yourself a little bit. So I've got no problem with chasing the money. I've got no problem with it. All right. Is that it? I don't want to go too much in this article, but we'll read this last paragraph right here. The big issue for the Chiefs getting a Matthew deal done is the multiple big contracts already in the books for 2022 when the salary cap isn't expected to make a massive leap. No, it's not a massive leap, but it is definitely more than it is this season. We do know that. Because of the shortened season, because of the COVID year last year, that's why the cap went down this year. But now we're back at full fans in the stands, so the cap is going to increase next year. We already know that. All right. That's more likely to come in 2023, massively, but it is already increased. We do know. I think it's going to like 187 million, I believe, next season. The Chiefs already have 4 players set to count for $20+ million next year on the cap. Patrick Mahomes at $35 next year. Chris Jones at $29 million. Frank Clark at $26 million. Tyreek Hill at $20 million. And Joe Thuney is next in line at $17 million. So there is a lot of money on this team. This is a Super Bowl caliber team, folks. It happens. You spend a lot of money. These are great generational talents. Patrick Mahomes, Chris Jones, and Tyreek Hill, all great at their respective positions. So we'll see what Tyron Matthews' money is going to look like. But now with Jamal Adams getting paid all this money, like they said, the landscape is a little bit different here. And we'll see if Tyron Matthew wants respect in the form of money. All right, let's move on to this, and I'm getting worried about the Giants, folks. Heading into basically today, kind of the start of training camp. Heading into the start of training camp, we were big on this Giants team. We thought the Giants were the best team in the NFC East, and then we got to training camp and was seeing Dak play and not seeing Saquon Barkley play and not really seeing that big excitement out of Daniel Jones so far, and now we're getting this. I don't think there is any urgency here on this Giants team, and it's starting to kind of, make us second guess our overall big buy into the Giants, our big buy into Saquon Barkley, our huge buy into Daniel Jones taking the same year 3 leap that Josh Allen did. And we're a little concerned here because now we're getting John Mara here, the co-owner of the Giants. No real urgency here, and I'm not loving. So we're going to have to go into this article and truly see what we're getting. And this is not the greatest look, but here we go. No playoff mandate from Giants co-owner John Mara. He says, quote, "I just want to feel like after the last game that what we have here is a team that can win the Super Bowl." I mean, okay, but there needs to be some urgency. We need to see urgency out of Daniel Jones. We need to. It's about time. We're heading into year 3. We've seen what all these other quarterbacks are doing kind of right out of the gate. Justin Herbert's looking fan-freaking-tastic. Patrick Mahomes, he sat for a year. A little bit of different circumstances, but his first year playing, second year overall, Super Bowl champion, or third year. Y'all know. He got to the AFC Championship game year 1. We got Josh Allen the year 3 lead. There is no more kind of babysitting these quarterbacks. It will pass you right by. Your opportunities are literally passing you right by. When was the last time that really we've gotten like a quarterback winning the Super Bowl after, really bad year 1, really bad year 2, small leap year 3, little bit of a good year 4, and then year 5 truly took off? When was the last time we've seen that, folks? That's not Patrick Mahomes. That's not Tom Brady. Jared Goff, maybe that, but it didn't win the Super Bowl. So this kind of notion that, you need to develop and you have to sit for a year and all this, it's crazy talk, folks. It's nonsense. It's not really true. You're wasting time. You're wasting valuable time here. So not setting kind of a playoff mandate. You don't have to have it a mandate, but, that shouldn't be, whether, we go 7-10 or 10-7 and we don't make the playoffs. I just want to feel like we can win the Super Bowl. But if you're not making the playoffs, you got to make the playoff step before you make the Super Bowl first, really. So let's go into this article here and see what we're getting with John Mara and what this team overall is looking like and the urgency there or lack thereof that potentially we are seeing. So let's see. Here we go. For the co-owner of a proud franchise that hasn't been very proud of its place in the win-loss column in recent years, John Mara is stopping well short of suggesting that the New York Giants' house is on fire. He's expectant of improvement and hopeful for the playoffs, but he's not setting a defined bar, at least not publicly, for the club to clear in 2021, saying Tuesday that he's not going to, quote, issue a mandate, quote by him. I expect to win more games than we did last year. Well, you won 6 last year, so hopefully, does anybody go into the season saying, if we win 6 games, that's a success? So, yes, I hope so. Geez, what a low bar to set. I expect to win more games than we did last year. Hopefully, we're going to be a playoff team this year. Hopefully, you better gosh dang believe, because that offense is absolutely freaking stacked, folks. Hopefully, we're going to be a playoff team. You can call it anything you want. I just want to feel like after the last game that what we have here is a team that can win a Super Bowl. So I'm going to call it Super Bowl or bust. That's what I'm calling this Giants team, honestly. It's Daniel Jones, year 3 leap, or bust. It's Saquon Barkley being ready and rocking and returning to kind of top 3 running back overall, or bust. This offense should be the highest offense in the top. I won't go highest. Top 5. This should be a top 5 offense, or bust. That's what I'm going to call it, John Mara. What are you calling it? Because it's not looking like there's any urgency here, and now we're starting to kind of freak out a little bit. The Giants' absence from a playoff perch is going on its 5th year unless fortunes can be turned this fall. Mara's job might not be on the line in the same way that executives, coaches, and players are, but credit him for at least being willing to take a piece of the blame if things don't go well this season. Asked if general manager Dave Gettleman is on the hot seat, Mara made it known that the hot seat in the New York market is big enough for everyone in blue. Oof. Quote, "We're all on the hot seat with our fans. We've given them too many losing seasons." Yes, you have. Mara did, however, follow up to clarify that it is not accurate to say Gettleman specifically is on the hot seat, saying, quote, "Let's see what happens." The Giants have had 4 losing seasons in a row since an 11-5 campaign in 2016 and an under 500 finish in 7 of the last 8 years. Gettleman is entering his 4th year as general manager, while head coach Joe Judge enters his 2nd. Mara said he believes the pair has the franchise, quote, "moving in the right direction." I mean, their offense on paper and their defense is still solid too. This is not a bad defense. This is a pretty, average-ish, slightly above average defense in my opinion. Gettleman, for his part, remains firm in his belief in quarterback Daniel Jones, who enters his 3rd season and 2nd under Joe Judge with high expectations, saying, quote, "We believe in Daniel. We're excited to see what he's going to do in the 2nd year in the system." So that's where we're at with the Giants. No urgency. There's got to be some urgency here at some point. Daniel Jones has to start making some improvements here. We believe he can make them. We just have to see him go out there and do it. So no playoff mandate for this Giants team, but there really should be, or I'm cleaning house. I'm cleaning house on everybody. But we'll see what happens with this Giants team, and hopefully they can start winning right out of the gate. Hopefully Saquon Barkley is good to go right out of the gate as well, and this team is looking as good as we think it could be. On paper, this is one of the best teams in the NFL, on paper. All right, we're going to hear from John Mara again in a second. Not good, but we're going to hear from him again. Let's move on to this. Juju Smith-Schuster. Let's talk about the Steelers quickly. Juju Smith-Schuster says the Steelers are happy to be flying under the radar. Says, quotes, "It's always nice to be the underdogs and then come out on top." Are they going under the radar? I think there's high expectations for the Steelers team. Big Ben being back and saying that he's healthy and saying that, he's feeling good, that he's kind of not floundering on his arm, that he's kind of feeling very, very good, maybe the best that he's ever felt, and that he's ready to rock. So I don't know if this Steelers team is truly flying under the radar. We haven't really talked about them in the last maybe week and a half, 2 weeks. They haven't really been making a lot of noise, besides basically the Big Ben talk. So yeah, maybe under the radar in that circumstance, but also you went 11-0 last season and floundered big. I don't know if we can count that as kind of underdogs now, but let's see what he says here. This is where do we got to go here? I just want to hear from Juju Smith-Schuster. I'm not going to read this entire article. All right, I'm already going late in the show, geez. But here we go. Not so fine was last year's results. The Steelers raced to an 11-0 start and then encountered a tsunami of problems. Significant injuries on their stellar defense, truly that. A COVID-19 jumbled schedule that had them play 3 games in 12 December days, and a wildly unbalanced offense with the Steelers leading the league in passing attempts but finishing last in rushing yards. The first 2 were bad luck. The third was simply bad form, a thrashing by the Cleveland Browns in a wildcard game. It was 28-0 after the first quarter. Truly forgot about that. Jeez Louise. Was the starting gun to rethink the offense. Quote here by Juju Smith-Schuster. Quote, "I think last year we got too comfortable with what we were so used to doing in the first half of our season, and then in the second half, teams started to figure us out. I think what we have now will help us out a lot." Yeah, truly, that running game and Matt Canada were big on that offensive coordinator, everybody knowing that they need to get the running game done. We're going to get any other quotes here by Juju Smith-Schuster. Don't really care what Big Ben's saying. What is Big Ben saying? Quote, "I think they understand they've got an old man back there, so they have to block a little harder, a little more. They also hear and read all the negativity. It's all about them, and they're too young, rookies, too no experience. I hope the chip on their shoulder will lift them up." Where's that Juju Smith-Schuster quote? What are we at? Can't even find the quote here. Oh, it's the very last quote here. So let's read the lead up. Here we go. But if his career is to end with a victory lap, that is, if it is even to end, Roethlisberger, who won 2 Super Bowls in his first 5 seasons, and the Steelers will have to do something they have rarely had to do before, surprise people. So once again, just back to that narrative of, like a 4-year stretch. Ben Roethlisberger won 2 Super Bowls in his first 5 seasons, and that has really done butt kiss over the last, 7 years. So once again, it is hard to maintain the highest level year after year after year after year. Even Big Ben can't do it. Quote here by Juju Smith-Schuster, quote, "It's kind of good that we're not on the radar, possibly the underdogs. I know we're never underdogs, but it's always nice to be underdogs and then come out on top." So, everybody's kind of buying into the Steelers team. Everyone's kind of feeling a little bit refreshed, rejuvenated from last year after that abysmal collapse. This rushing game and the offensive coordinator, I really think, are kind of bringing great energy and just kind of great overall mentality-wise to the Steelers team, and I really think everybody's buying in. So we'll see how the Steelers team looks. Hopefully they're as good as they were last year. Would like to kind of see Big Ben at least try to go off on top. I wouldn't mind that this season, that narrative overall. I think that's solid, but we'll see how it all progresses. We had a little bit of a scare yesterday with Chase Claypool, and we need the Steelers receivers to be as deep as possible to help open up the running game and vice versa. But yesterday, Steelers wide receiver Chase Claypool was being evaluated after exiting practice with an apparent injury, and that injury was... The report comes after head coach Mike Tomlin had said Claypool is being evaluated after the wideout went down at the end of practice with an apparent lower body injury and was helped to the sideline. Garofalo adds that Claypool will have further tests for a complete diagnosis, but there is a huge sigh of relief, and it turns out truly to be nothing because Chase Claypool takes to Twitter last night and says all is well. That is it. So a little bit of a scare, but that Chase Claypool injury seems to be like a nothing burger, so no big deal there. Alrighty, we're back to John Mara, and what the hell is this, folks? What the hell is this about? We hate the taunting rule. It's absolutely stupid. It's we just saw it in preseason, and it's gonna ruin the game. But we get John Mara talking again. So once again, we're not big into John Mara, what he has to say for this Giants team and overall. But John Mara says taunting is a point of emphasis because we're sick and tired of the talking. Folks, once again, folks, we are at the highest level of competition. There's going to be trash talk and shit talk. There's going to be that all over the place. These are the highest level. These are the best athletes in the world getting their opportunity to prove that they are better than their counterpart of the opposing team to go out and win the game. So, of course, there's going to be a little bit of talking. And now you want everybody to kind of shut up and dribble? Wasn't that the big thing in the NBA? Talk about, sick of tired of the talking. Folks, have you seen the NBA? Everybody's chirping, and the refs don't say anything, and the owners don't say anything. They don't come out and say, oh, we're sick and tired of the talking, and we're going to kind of make it a point of emphasis to have these athletes stop talking and chirping. Folks, come on. Can we relax on this? These are grown men trying to win. Folks, do you know how much just the media puts pressure on people to win, let alone the fans, let alone social media, who players have one bad play, and everyone's like, oh, the season's over, the season's done. This is how much winning, and even the media does it. If you're not winning, you're not getting talked about. If you're not getting talked about, you're not getting money because you're not getting advertisements, you're not getting fan revenue, you're not getting jersey sales, you're not getting ticket sales, you're not getting that kind of, bump of being put on primetime television. You're not in the playoffs extendedly putting on, once again, primetime television. So if you're not winning, you're not doing anything. And taunting is a part of trying to win because there's so much pressure on you to win that you have to be great, that you have to be better than the other grown, physical, athletic man across from you. So what the hell are we talking about sick and tired of the taunting and the talking? Really? Oh my goodness. So let's see what truly John Mara, this man Skeletor, has to say about taunting and true level of competition, who is literally at the front office sitting in the luxury deck while all these other grown athletic men are putting their bodies and livelihood on the line. Let's see what John Mara has to say about competition. So the NFL has reminded players, coaches, and officials that taunting is a point of emphasis this season, which has led to some criticisms that the NFL is the no fun league. Absolutely big criticisms. It's absolutely absurd what they're calling taunting now. But Giants owner John Mara is standing by the taunting emphasis. Mara, a member of the NFL's competition committee, oh great, this is who we've got here making all the rules. This man right here, okay, put Derrick Henry on the competition committee, please. Mara, a member of the NFL's competition committee, says there's widespread agreement among the people who make the rules that a crackdown on taunting is appropriate. Quote here by John Mara. That's something we discuss every year in the competition committee. We get kind of sick and tired of the taunting, but then you go out and make it taunting legal after scoring a touchdown. So you can't have it both ways. You want great kind of touchdown celebrations to juice up the fans, to have a great Twitter highlight and a great Twitter clip, but then you won't let somebody taunt after getting a 5-yard first down or carrying 10 yards of the entire defense on their back that we just saw in preseason get flagged, but that taunting is not good? Come on, man. We get kind of sick and tired of the taunting that does go on from time to time on the field. That goes on from time to time, so you're not even saying it happens every play? Well, it happens from time to time, so we're sick of it. What? It doesn't even happen every play, but it's time to time, and you're sick of it? What? That's absurd. That is so absurd. That sentence right there is the most absurd sentence I've ever heard. Oh, my goodness. Ruin the game because from time to time it happens? Once again, watering it down, bringing everything down to the lowest common denominator, man. There should be separation in athleticism, in talent, in greatness, in all of this. Everybody should not be at the same equal level playing field because some players are just born better, naturally gifted. Some people put in the work, others that don't. Tim Tebow didn't put in the work at tight end, folks. That's why he floundered big time. So yes, reward those players for being great athletically and also putting in the time in. But, you know, if you drag the entire defense 10 yards and you flex on them, you just put more work in the weight room than they did. So, yeah, celebrate. That's all y'all got? Y'all prepared an entire week to tackle me, and this is the best y'all put out there? Pathetic. Flex on them. Yes, sir, baby. Get big. Come prepared next time, or I'm going to run your ass over again. And next time, I'm going to take your offense and defense, bring all 24 players out here, and I'll drag them all over the finish line, over the end zone line for the touchdown. Don't disrespect me by bringing these boys to a men's game, baby. These weak young boys, small boys. You're not even men out here. You're weak. You're weak, you're small, and you're going to try and tackle me, Derrick Henry, like that? Disrespectful. So what the hell are we talking about here, folks? Let's continue on with this great John Mara that we have to listen to about an NFL game, and if you look like you even touched this man, he would instantly crumble to the ground. But this man knows about high levels of competition. Okay. Back to the quote. We tried to balance the sportsmanship with allowing the players to have fun, and there's always a fine line there. Sportsmanship is so overrated, folks. I'm so over sportsmanship. Oh my God, I don't want to shake your hand. Oh, I put in so much work. I sacrificed my entire life to try to win. Sorry, I don't want to kind of dap you up after the game. Sorry, I don't want to be like, oh, you made a great play, better than I did. Congratulations. Let's try and get you back next play. Oh, we didn't. Oh, wow, you're better than us. Who wants to admit that? Sportsmanship is so freaking overrated, folks. Now, I'm not saying that you have to go out there and be like physically and mentally and emotionally abusive to these people, your other kind of, the other players, the coaches, the refs, anything like that. There is a line there, but not everybody has to be buddy and all smiles. Folks, do you not understand that people are sacrificing their lives, their bodies? I mean, Andrew Luck got out of the game because he didn't want the physical kind of, the long-lasting physical ailments that come with the game. They're putting their bodies and livelihoods and longevity on the line. Sacrificing. And you want everybody to be buddy? Come on. We try to find a balance. We try to balance the sportsmanship with allowing the players to have fun, and there's always a fine line there, but none of us like to see that. It's just a question of none of us like to see that. Who is none of us? I want to see somebody flex on him and say get big up to somebody else because they just mowed them down. You don't want to see that? Okay, then go play, I don't even know, baseball? No contact sports? Go watch those. It's just a question of whether you can have rules that can be enforced and without taking the fun out of the game too. But nobody wants to see a player taunting another. But nobody wants to see another player taunting another player? What? Do you know your fan base? Do you know who watches the NFL? The fact that this man's making the rules, I can't believe it, folks. This is the guy that's making some of the rules. Wow, okay. This is already ending badly. We just saw it in preseason. I know. What? Here we go. Back to the quote. We got to read the entire thing. Stop having all these interruptions, even though they're warranted. But nobody wants to see a player taunting another player. I know. I certainly don't. I think the rest of the members of the competition feel the same way. Competition committee feel the same way too. Okay, because you've got these people in the competition committee. Put Derrick Henry. Put Dak Prescott. Put Tom Brady. Put Aaron Rodgers on the competition committee, and let's see what they have to say about these garbage rules. Okay. Absolutely ridiculous. And players took to Twitter yesterday, and thank God they did. Tyron Matthew, absolutely love him. Thank you for standing up. Tyron Matthew responds to the article that we just talked about. He says, "Oh, so shut up and play?" ? Got it. Alvin Kamara says corny as hell, and then Adrian Amo says, "I blame that darn rap music," in quotes, being sarcastic. So once again, it's just, what are we doing here, folks? Do we want high levels of competition, or do you want to water down the NFL so that everybody has fun and that, folks, do y'all not understand that this is the highest level, the pinnacle? How many times do we have to say this? This is the highest level. There is nothing above the NFL in terms of competition of football. This is the highest level, and we're watering it down. It's wild. It's nonsense. It's ridiculous. It's upsetting. It's sickening. It's ruining the game. It is ruining the game. I don't want to be that person that says, "Oh, everything ruins the game," but this truly does ruin the entire game of football. So we'll see how much they crack down on it, because John Mara is out here trying to enforce all these dumb rules. This is football. This is a contact sport. These are grown men sacrificing their entire lives, working from a young age to try to be this athletic specimen that is needed to play in the NFL, the highest level of football. Sorry that everybody's kind of sunshines and rainbows, because there's blood, sweat, and tears, sacrificing your body, wearing down your longevity in just life overall to play this game. Sorry, John Mara, that, you can just sit in the box, sit in a nice, comfy, kind of lazy boy cushioned seat and have people bring you your food and drinks and serve on you hand and foot in your press box, in your kind of, suite that you own, while you watch these actual grown men go out and get it done on the field. Ridiculous. It's just so frustrating, folks. Truly frustrating. All right, well, let's end here. We got a lot more to talk about. We're at the pick up tomorrow on the show, but we'll end here right now. Let's talk about this last thing right here, because this is potentially bad for our big bet, our biggest bet that we are riding on this season. Justin Fields being the week 1 starter. Unfortunate little bit of a tweak yesterday. Justin Fields is out of practice today with a groin injury. Ugh, not good. Potentially hindering his status for week 1 starter if he's out a couple of practices. Doesn't have all those reps now. Can't continue to impress. Andy Dalton takes over still, obviously. And maybe he's just not ready by week 1. So this is definitely going to hurt our bet potentially, and especially so we get that injury, and then we get the quote by Matt Nagy, which once again hinders our bet. And we're going to check the odds to see if it moved at all because of what happened here. But here we go. Matt Nagy says Bears are being, quote, extremely conservative with rookie Justin Fields' groin injury. Says, quote, "We want to be smart, and it doesn't make sense right now to push the limits with him and take a chance of making it more sore." So not great. Once again, being extremely cautious with him. Not great. not being able to go out there and practice, showing what he can do, and potentially overthrowing Andy Dalton for the Week 1 starter. So let's read what's going on here, because it's going to be bad, folks. This is not exactly what we want to see. Truly the opposite. The Chicago Bears' top 2 draft picks are dealing with injuries. One is much more serious than the other. Coach Matt Nagy said Wednesday that first-rounder quarterback Justin Fields would be pulled back in practice today as he deals with a groin issue. Nagy noted that the team would be, quote, extremely conservative with Fields, but the plan is to get him ready for Saturday's preseason game versus the Bills. Oh, okay, that's good. Okay, so he could still potentially play against the Bills. Okay, now that's making us feel a little bit better. We were kind of wondering if that was in jeopardy. Quote here by Matt Nagy, quote, "He was a little sore, and Justin is the last one that's going to tell you that's an excuse. He's not going to use that excuse. He was pissed off with some of the throws and just the way in general yesterday we were all a little bit. I didn't think offensively we had a very good day. We were able to watch the film last night, go through it and correct it and see why and stuff. For us, we've got to be smart. We want to be smart, and it doesn't make sense right now to push the limits with him to take a chance of making it more sore." Alrighty, so that's alright. So he could still potentially play against the Bills. Probably won't play as much against the Bills like he did in preseason game number 1, where he played well into the third quarter. Probably won't play that much. Hopefully a couple more reps. We also heard Andy Dalton is probably going to get a lot more reps as well than he did in preseason game number 1. So hopefully he takes today off, maybe tomorrow, getting right for when's their preseason game? Let's look that up. Is it Friday, Saturday, or Sunday? Here we go. Preseason game for the Bears is Saturday. So maybe take today, Thursday off, a little light Friday, ready to go Saturday. It's a 1 o'clock game in Chicago, so there's no flight, so there's no traveling, so he can stay at his home base and still recover. So that's a little promising as well. And what makes, Justin Fields so great, we got this nice stat over the weekend. The fastest offensive ball carriers from preseason week 1. Now, these are anybody that carried the ball offensively, the top 5 fastest. Justin Fields was number 3, folks. Number 1 was Quez Watkins, wide receiver for the Eagles, at 21.56 miles an hour top speed. Number 2 was KJ Hamler at 21.38 miles an hour, and we had him on the deep ball, the 80-yard pass by Drew Lock, and that is Justin Fields, third at 20.39 miles per hour. That's top speed by a quarterback, folks. We saw him out there, and this is the element that we love that he brings to the game, the dual threat ability, and you gotta love it and you gotta respect it, and this is why he truly should be the week 1 starter, because he adds that element offensively. You have to respect the rushing game, and we know that's what makes Patrick Mahomes so great. He's a great thrower of the football, which makes him great alone, but also that dual threat ability, the escapability, all that. Same thing with Lamar Jackson. Same thing with Justin Fields. Same thing with Kyler Murray. And those are winners. They always have great records. One wins Super Bowls. One gets deep into the playoffs. Kyler Murray emerging 8-8 last season, could have been a little bit better, but it does result in the wins, and it does help the offense overall. It opens up the receiving game, it opens up the rushing game, and it opens up the passing game even more. Then we had Ramondre Stevenson on that big old run there, the 90-yard run at the end of the game. Ramondre Stevenson, running back for the Patriots, going 23.37 miles an hour. And then Trent Sherfield, the wide receiver for the 49ers, who's been really emerging here in the offseason, going 20.17 miles an hour. So Justin Fields right up there with some great elite talent, great speed talent overall, and that's really why he truly should be the week 1 starter. Let's check up these odds quickly. Did this hurt his odds? Did it not move the needle at all? Are we still kind of waiting until the preseason game number 2 before these odds change again? So let's see where the odds are at right now. Justin Fields will be the week 1 starter, are still at plus 190. So overall, this little bit of a hiccup hasn't really moved the meter that much, or really at all. It has not moved. It's still at 190, what it was at the end of preseason game number 1. So hopefully this isn't anything too big. Hopefully it's just kind of holding out a day, maybe 2, getting right. It's just a groin injury, nothing big, but hopefully this doesn't hurt his overall long run to be the week 1 starter. Alrighty, that's where we're going to call it for today, folks. Went real long today. A lot of great stuff to talk about, so no problems there. Cutting it a little early today. Haven't even finished all the stories, so we will pick up on these tomorrow as well, seeing how far we get. And we may do something special tomorrow. I think we are going to have a guest tomorrow on the show. Either it's going to be on the show or a little bit of a bonus episode overall. We'll see. We're still kind of ironing out the details today. But it's somebody that I truly respect. There's only two people that I truly respect their sports opinion in totality-wise. One is on national television and Colin Cowherd, and the other is this guest that will be tomorrow. Tomorrow at some point, and we'll let y'all know. We will still have a show, whether he's on the show or a bonus show. We will still be here live noon Eastern tomorrow, so no worries on that. But yeah, we're going to have that tomorrow, so we will get that insight from another person out here. It's not just us. We got another fan coming in, folks, so get ready for that. It's going to be great. Can't wait. All right. That's going to do it for us today, folks. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We can quickly see if anything has been breaking. Andy Dalton says, Justin Fields is going to have a great career, but right now it's my time. Jeez Louise, will you get over yourself, dude? He's buying into it too heavy, and I think that's where Matt Nagy made a little bit of a mistake. Truly kind of making it seem like Andy Dalton is the week one starter. That's truly funny. All righty. It's going to be interesting when he gets told, hey, you're out, whether it's week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4. And Andy Dalton's not starting this entire season. That's definitely for true. Alrighty. That seems to be it for right now. Nothing truly breaking. We get to watch Jalen Waddle tomorrow. That's going to be great. Can't wait for that. He's fantastic. He's looking real great. He gets separation. Jamar Chase, you better be taking notes from Jalen Waddle. Alrighty. That seems to be it, folks. Ooh, the Vikings are working out Everson Griffin. Real interesting there. Oh, we got another top 5 from Albert Breer tomorrow. Okay. All right, folks, that seems to be it. That is going to be it for today, folks. We are out of here, and we will see you tomorrow, folks.